So if you are a Shark Tank India fan just like I am, then I'm sure that you would have watched almost all the episodes of it. Especially in the last week when I had started to get withdrawal symptoms about the season 1 coming to an end. However, in one of the episodes of the last week, there was something interesting which happened, which is something which you, as an MBA student or as a student of any course who's about to step into the industry, it's very important for you. What exactly is that scene? I will make you watch this very interesting short scene which happened after Ashneer Grover, the founder of BharatPe, and Peyush Bansal, the founder of Lenskart, had jointly invested in a startup by two gentlemen. And this conversation between Ashneer and Peyush happens after the show ends, after they have made the investment. So take a look at this conversation and then I'll get back to you.
पुलकित इंदर क्या करना चाहोगे? 1 2 3 करो यार.
It's a deal.
Good job, and I'm very excited.
Just hold on out there. I would just like to reiterate over here that if you're an MBA student, or if you're already an MBA, or even if you're an MBA aspirant, this conversation is very important for you to watch. So please watch this carefully. Each of the statements which both of them make are very important. Pardon the interruption. Let's get back to the video.
ऐसे लोग जो है ना, ये जब हम हायर करने जाते हैं तो मिलते नहीं ऐसे लोग.
यार जब मार्केट गिरेगी ना तभी ऐसे लोग मिलेंगे. आज की डेट में कोई भी अच्छा बंदा है
वो एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना.
मैंने आपको यही तो सुबह बताया था, ऐसे लोग एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना चाहते हैं.
पर ये मिलते नहीं है, बहुत देख लिया ना. इसको ये लोग
नहीं मिलेंगे, इतने स्मार्ट लोग नहीं मिलेंगे.
वो जो नर्ड वाले मिलेंगे ना वो मिलेंगे.
हाँ, वो मिलेंगे.
I hope that you've watched that video, you've watched that clip, and you've probably already understood that what exactly are they saying and why is it important for you. So in this video, my objective is to really help you understand what it means and what are the 3 takeaways which you can have from this conversation which you've just heard. Hi, I'm Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur, and let's get on with the video. So I will get straight to the point and I'll help you understand that for you as an MBA student, what are the 3 important takeaways which you must take, which you must embed in your mindset from this conversation, this very valuable conversation which you just heard. So the takeaway number 1 is that if you're an MBA student, if you're an MBA, do not be a nerd. Which means that if you're somebody who's chasing only the grades, who's chasing only the exams and has the hunger to score well in the exams, to do all the assignments really well and all of those things, if that is who you are, then probably instead of doing a good service to yourself, you're doing a grave injustice, a grave disservice to yourself, because probably while you're in the pursuit of those grades, you are missing out on a lot of experiences and a lot of things which you should be involved in, which will help you build yourself as a true and complete professional. And at the end of the day, when you'll be walking into the interviews, when you'll be actually applying for the opportunities out there, all of that lack of experience and the lack of practicality is likely to show up, which is exactly what Ashneer and Peyush were speaking about. That where do you find these kind of people who really have that practical experience, who are not speaking something which they've studied in a book, who are not speaking something which they've studied in a classroom from a prof, but they have truly experienced it? And they are talking from the experiences which they have, and which means that they are very much ready to work in a business environment and make an impact. However, am I saying to you that you should not focus on your exams? Am I saying to you that you should not focus on your assignments? No, I am not saying that. In fact, what I'm saying to you is that there is another way. There is another wholesome way which I always talk about in my YouTube videos and also in my course, that you need to follow this way in order to learn in such a way that you are not learning only for the exams, but you're learning for life. And this way is the learn, do and teach, about which I'll explain you further down the video. So the first takeaway for you was that do not be a nerd. But if I'm advising you to not be a nerd, then what exactly am I advising you to be? What I'm advising you to be is the takeaway number 2, and that takeaway is become a practitioner. Do not see yourself as an MBA student. Start seeing yourself as a practitioner, which means what? Which means that if your objective is only to score well in the exams, is only to do well so that you can have good grades and then you can find a good placements, then probably you will become a very good student, but unfortunately you will become a very bad or a very average practitioner of the concepts and the skills which you've learned in the classroom or on some online courses. For you to be able to understand that what am I saying to you when I'm asking you to become a practitioner, you can understand from this simple fact that Ashneer and Peyush are extremely impressed by these two guys because they were not speaking about something which they learned in the classroom. They are entrepreneurs who had worked on something, who had created something, and during that process of creation, they had experiences, and that experiences gave them the maturity and the finesse which any business owner would want to have in the kind of people they would want to work with, especially in the MBAs which they hire. So for you to be able to get that practical experience, you need to do something else. And I've already informed you what something else is it. So you need to follow this one principle of learn, do and teach. I've spoken about this in a lot of my videos. The reason why learn, do and teach is a very good philosophy for you to practice is because learn, do and teach is ensuring that you're learning the concepts which you've studied in the classroom, you are understanding them well. Then from there, you are applying these concepts on a project of your own, on your own marketing experiments lab, which is your blog. And when you're applying those concepts onto your blog, then effectively you're building your own project. Because just like these entrepreneurs are coming in with their products and their services, you are applying all the concepts on that blog, which is your marketing experiments lab, which is just like your product. So it's like investing your skills on a product and the outcomes of that product, the outcomes of that blog, how well that blog works is going to be your practical experience. So just like these entrepreneurs on Shark Tank India, they have their products. For you to become a practitioner, for you to impress somebody out there in the industry, you not need to have grades. You need to have a portfolio of work, a body of work. So forget positions of responsibility, PORs. Focus on body of work, because that is something which is going to speak on your behalf. In fact, here I would advise you to go down in the description and find the link to my course 5 steps ahead, because in 5 steps ahead my objective is to help you understand that how can you create the best career outcomes from your MBA without depending on placements, without having to run for grades, but in a truly holistic, pure fashion in which whatever you learn, you're applying it on your project, on your blog, and that blog will help you grow and eventually get the outcomes which you want, just like the products which these entrepreneurs had created and the knowledge which these entrepreneurs had acquired while creating that product had impressed the sharks so much. So therefore, the takeaway number 2 was that do not be nerds, do not be marketing students. In fact, be practitioners, and that is what it means when you have a body of work, and that body of work can only be when you apply your knowledge and skills onto a project. And this project, if you join my course 5 steps ahead, is a blog, is a full-fledged website, your personal brand, which grows as and when your knowledge and skill grows. From there, I will take you towards the third and the final and probably the most important takeaway which you can have from this entire interaction. And that takeaway is that do not make the mistake of thinking that placements are the best outcome for you from your MBA. No. Placements cannot be the best outcome from MBA. You cannot call it the best until and unless you have experienced all the other options. But if you as an MBA student are entering the B school and are working towards only the placement, how can you call it to be the best? Because you've not even explored the other options. What are these other options? The other options are off-campus placements, or self-employment, becoming a freelancer, a global consultant, or the third one, starting off your own startup. How can you simply build a side hustle while you are in your MBA, and that can take shape of a full-fledged startup, your own startup, which is exactly what my story is. That when I was an MBA student at IIM Udaipur, I built my blog Super Heuristics, and eventually it grew on to become something on which I can focus my entire time on and work on it, because that is what now my project is, my project for life. And why is it important for me to highlight that placement should not be the only thing which you should see, is that because you have an example right in front of you in that Shark Tank episode which you've seen. In fact, in all the Shark Tank India, Shark Tank US, Shark Tank Australia, any Shark Tank you watch, any episode you watch, you have examples in front of you that how anybody, even from the smallest towns, can go ahead and build a product, can build a startup, and can get appreciated and funded for it. So when they can do it, you as an MBA student who has already done an undergraduation and now is in your MBA, wherein you are acquiring the business gyan, why cannot you do it? And it does not mean that you will leave everything else and focus only on it. No, I've seen enough friends of my own who left the placements because they wanted to focus only on startups. What I'm simply advising you is to again follow that learn, do and teach, because when you continuously follow learn, do, teach, when you build your marketing experiments lab, your own project on which you're applying all the things you learn, you will not even realize that how well that marketing experiments lab, that blog has helped you grow your personal brand, and that will eventually become your project for life, your startup. So I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this video in which I attempted to share 3 very important things for you which you could have learned, which you should learn from this interaction which Peyush and Ashneer were having on Shark Tank India. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone you feel requires to watch this. Also, do check out my course 5 Steps Ahead, which helps you create the best outcomes from your MBA without depending on your placements. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot and goodbye.